sweet redemption. I will never let you down. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey, baby, how you make me sway. You say you will. I'm calling your addicted friend. You say you will, yeah. I'm causing the obsessive mind. You say you will. I'm calling your addicted friend. You say you will, yeah. I'm causing the obsessive mind. Saw you rolling steady, took it kinda heavy. Baby, I'm a loving kind. Jaded loving hazard doesn't really matter. Baby, say you will be mine. Take my affection and my safe protection. I will always be around. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey. I'm tired of being in the line. You say you will. I'm calling your addicted brain. You say you will, yeah. I'm causing the obsessive mind. You say you will. I'm calling your addicted brain. You say you will, yeah. I'm causing the obsessive mind.
First part's always the hardest, I think, for you guys. First part's always the hardest, so you need
Say you
Alright, start it. Right, intro running. 1 minute to go. Yeah, good luck, guys.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and children of all ages. Welcome back to another round of the SSRi GT3 League Tier 1. Now, first thing you're going to be thinking is, wow, Dave's got a new voice, but unfortunately we don't have Dave here today. So you're going to be joined by myself, Adam Bent, and Wouter as we take you through the round 5, I believe we are at now, at Misano. Welcome, Wouter.
Yeah, good evening too. So, Misano.
Misano, yes, indeed. It's obviously in Italy. I don't know much about the circuit. I'm sure that I'll be fed some information as we go across. But yeah, this is a interesting round. This is the first round that I've experienced that is not just one race, but two sprint races. Are you looking forward to seeing these today, Wouter?
Yeah, I saw the Tier 2 action on Oulton with 2 races, and that was quite interesting. So I hope we see a nice race today.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have a quick run through the standings. We don't have any fancy graphics to show you at this moment, but Dean Riley is still holding the top of the table on 210 points. It's actually BMWs all the way through down to P5. However, Robbie Stapleford has left the series, which means technically we have Charlie Crossland in P2. Then it's down to Lewis Dykes in the first non-BMW in the McLaren 720S, followed by another M4 GT3. Mark Brophy in Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo in P8, Adam Azalevich in his M4 GT3 in P9, and Sam Spenkling in P10 in his NSX. So let's just have a quick run through of where we've been in the series and just a quick brief overview of where we will be going. Round 1, we started in Italy in Imola with a 60-minute race, and I'm sure that was a great thing to watch. Then we moved over to the UK to Oulton Park with 2 30-minute sprint races. Then back across the continent to the other side of the world to Suzuka for a 75-minute race with a mandatory stop. Round 4 saw us travel back to Europe to the Hungaroring for a 60-minute mandatory race. A quick hop over to Italy again for round 5, where we are today for the 2 30-minute sprint races before heading back up to the UK to Silverstone for a 75-minute race. And finishing it all the way, I believe this is finishing it, down in round 7 for a 75-minute race at Kyalami. So we haven't got too long left now. In fact, we have 13 minutes left in the session, so we'll be jumping into that in a moment. And I'm having a quick look at our SRi timings, and it's currently 2 BMWs on the top. Yeah. So we are currently, I believe this is live, I'm not sure. Sorry, I completely forgot to introduce our camera guy as well. I do apologise, Tom. We have Tom Vandermeer on the cameras, as always, doing a great job to transition us between the sets. So, currently looking at the times, it is Adrian Antomarchi on the top with a 1:33.1, with Dean Riley, our championship leader, just behind. There we go, the Simsport Racing International driver in P2. Nard Cox in the Honda, currently sat in P3 with Kieran Vidago, P4. So, Wouter, have you ever actually driven the circuit in a sprint race, and what would be your car of choice?
Well, I've driven this one time in a sprint race, and it was quite enjoyable. My car of choice would be the McLaren, because I like to drive mid-engine cars, so it was quite a clear choice for me. It doesn't really depend on the track. But it's a track with quite a lot of action and large straight. Well, it's not straight, but you can take it all flat out, so we might actually see a large bit of slipstreaming there.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of cars in this lobby to be currently we're seeing about 32 drivers in this lobby, which is actually quite a lot for a sprint race when you think about it. 30 minutes with 32 drivers. Is qualifying vital here?
Yeah, qualifying is vital. As said, you can do a lot of slipstreaming, but from my own experience, it isn't the most easy track to overtake on. So qualifying is quite important. But still, we have 2 races left. So if you don't do well in qualifying now, you'd still get another chance.
Absolutely. Well, we're watching Lulu B now in the Snack Pack Racing number 606, running a bit wide. I'm not sure if that would invalidate a time. I'm not fully... unfortunately, I'm not a experienced driver in ACC. I believe Walter has a bit more seat time than myself, and I'm sure Tom as well. But it's still valid. You're just getting confirmation there. So currently running along inside the... I believe it was an NSX, yeah it is, Honda NSX, as we're coming down towards what looks to be Sector 3 now, the flat out section that Walter was mentoring previously, so you go flat through there before braking a bit heavier through here, and then down on the brakes through here, a little bit of acceleration, and then down to I believe second gear for this corner.
Yeah, and also with this lap being invalidated or not, the track limits here are quite a tricky part of the circuit. Like in these corners where she is driving now, you can invalidate it quite easily, so these drivers will absolutely have to tackle and control those track limits, so they won't get a drive to, which in these 30 minutes means quite a bit of impact with no mandatory pit stop.
Absolutely, you're right there. Obviously, we saw last week, the week before, when somebody got a penalty, they just gave up, so 30 minutes isn't obviously a great time to try and get yourself a penalty. As we're watching it, I'm going to butcher this name, I apologise. We're going to just say Medema in the Red Rocket Racing 336 McLaren.
Yeah.
Sorry. So with half of the session elapsed now, Antamachi still holds the top time, separated by 185 of a second from Dean Riley, followed by another BMW of Kieran Vidago in P3. We have James Mead in P4 in the Mercedes AMG, followed by Nard Cox in P5 in his NSX. Jack Young taking P6 with his BMW for the moment. However, obviously more people will be saying times that are faster and faster as the session progresses. Here we are on board with Adrian Antamachi as he comes through the first few corners. Excuse me, sorry. So, as we can see, he's getting heavy on brakes. In fact, down to first gear through that corner. I've never actually tried to go for first gear. Is it actually worth doing through those corners?
Well, now you're asking me about my worst part on the circuit, if I know anything. The last time I drove here was during the 2.4 hours of Simsport, so I don't actually know it that good, but Misano isn't my best track, on my own opinion, so...
Absolutely, yeah, it's not a circuit that I tend to visit, obviously being I much more favour somewhere like Oulton Park or Snetterton, but yeah, so we've got 8 minutes left in qualifying. We've got two BMWs on the top. Seems to be business as normal for Dean Riley, putting himself in the position to take maximum points in these two races, although Adrian Antamachi trying to take a couple more from him to just try and keep this championship battle alive.
And also Sam Spakelink in P3, who got pole last race at Hungaroring, but wasn't on the grid due to connection issues, and then started from the back and had connection issue and was flying through the air. So good to see him back on top, and also with the Honda, who got quite an upgrade after the update.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of chatter in the various discords and forums about the Honda's apparently, newfound pace as opposed to some of these cars. Obviously, I'm used to seeing the McLaren and the Aston Martins quite high up, but it's really good to see the Honda up, obviously, and unfortunately for Nard, yeah, last time out, he had a bit of connection issues.
Yeah, here we see Sam Spakelink putting third, which was unthinkable a bit before the update with this Honda, but now the people like Lulu B and himself and Nard Cox, who actually chose the car, could be quite happy with the update.
Absolutely, yeah, you can see the pace difference between some of these cars as somebody's actually warming their tyres up just in front of somebody that's on a lap, so not the best idea when you're trying to set your lap and you can see somebody in front just weaving around in the M4 GT3. In fact, I'm going to say something quite controversial. I really don't like that front grille.
Can't agree more with you.
Yeah, it just looks a bit too wide. That is Dean Riley on a quick lap. Is he going to set pole? No, he doesn't set pole, but it's only just by 33 thousandths, sorry, hundredths of a second between him and Adrian Antomarchi. So this is going to be a very close race at the front. Simon Benklink only 4 tenths back. Kieran Vidago 6 tenths back. James Mead only 3 thousandths between him and the BMW.
And if you look further down the order, you see till P14 is still in 1 second of the leader, which means that people who are a bit further behind only have to push harder 1/10 or so, and they will actually gain a few places, which makes this field pretty competitive.
Absolutely. Well, there's only 2 seconds separating P1 to P32 for reference. So this is how close this grid is, and you know how tightly packed this grid is going to be through the race. Obviously, you can't be a hero into turn 1, but equally, you haven't got that hour-long strategy to keep in mind for fuel.
Yeah, so it's a 30-minute dash to the end, and even 1 hour is, in the meantime, with the great drivers we have in sim racing, even 1 hour is a sprint race in this time. So we will definitely see quite a lot of action with people trying to get the best out of those 30 minutes.
Absolutely, and you can see with just a quarter of the session left, we've got a yellow flag somewhere. That's quickly rectified as we're watching Senna Spenklink now come up to the line. Is it going to be any better? It's not this time round. We're not seeing too many people improve on their times now, but we still have a few laps remaining. 1 minute 33 for the best laps so far. Dean Riley not far behind, so we may see a change for pole just yet.
With the people now on pole, they are super good, so we'll see if they can squeeze that 100th of a second, or in Dean's case 300ths of a second out of the lap, which is on this level quite hard to do.
Absolutely, it's a bit difficult as we're watching now John Baton in P26 jump down to his time. I'm trying to keep an eye on, see if it's any quicker. It looks like it could be, as he's coming up to the last turn now. The Lexus, I believe it's an RCF, you'll have to quote me if I'm wrong, but the RCF GT3 coming up to the line now. Does improve, goes P19, so jumps 7 places up to P19. He seems to be happy with that and pulls over to jump back to the pits. In fact, it's a very difficult thing to do sometimes. I've never done it myself, to stop right after a lap and pull into the pits. I don't understand it. Is it something that professional sim racers do to save time?
Yeah, you can use it to save time, or if you drive on really low fuel that you actually won't make it like another turn. With these laps you have to get the absolute maximum out of the car, and you want to put also the fuel as low as possible, so yeah, maybe you can't even drive further.
That makes a lot more sense now. Yeah, obviously, like I say, myself, bit less of an experienced sim racer, mostly spend my days on ACC and project cars, but ACC is a very good game and a very pretty game as well. As we're watching Kieran Vidago currently sat in P6 in the number 71 Simsport Racing International M4. So with 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left in the session, it's still Adrian Antomarchi holding the top spot. Dean Riley hasn't improved on his laps since, so may end up in P2 as there's another yellow flag somewhere on the circuit. Goes green very quickly again as people are able to jump back to the pits. It's a bit easier than trying to clean a track when there's a yellow flag.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was watching the car go off in this corner on the track map. So we have another yellow there, in a corner which is quite fast. You have to put a little bit of braking in there, otherwise you will spin the car around. At least I will spin the car around. So maybe it's not the best place to stop the car, but as I think I saw, it were 2 teammates, so they will comply about it to each other and won't be a big of issue to other drivers.
Absolutely. Well, I completely forgot to mention, we also do have the silver class in this category. That is being currently led by P12 Peter Vernier. There we go. In fact, there he is in the Sim Racing Holland car there with the beautiful Sim Racing logo on the front.
Yeah, nice car, but still the old Audi, because the release date of the new Audi means that we won't see them on the grid this season. But still, those old cars, well, old 2018, I believe, are still pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, we've seen the release of another pack mid-season. Obviously, the stewards and the organisers have decided that it's not worth allowing anybody to change car mid-season. Obviously, that would be a bit unfair, especially with the new cars coming out. But obviously, it was only, if I remember rightly, only one GT3. The rest were Cup and obviously the M2 CS car, as we got the 27 car just jumping back to the pits now. So 7 seconds left in qualifying. Dean Riley has given up. Adrian Antomarchi should be on the pole now, unless Nard Cox, Dave Jr., Mark Brophy, or Dimitri Decoin. I can't pronounce that last name. Porter, would you like to help me out there?
Yeah, sorry
yeah.
if I mispronounced it. It's even I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. But we have got the first car across the line. Lulaby sat in P17. I believe she is the first person to take the checkered. So all these drivers now that are on a lap are going to try and get a little bit higher up. Only 3 seconds separating the whole class. 2 seconds between P33 and P1. So that's very close. Bear in mind that 2 seconds. Well, I mean, 2 seconds is normally for me the distance between my chair now and my door to leave my room. So you can imagine how many cars that are very closely packed together here between them. And we are now watching the last few cars come across with Vincent Vilcek coming through towards the last few corners now, chasing Alexis. I can't see the door numbers. I believe that's Kroll. No, it's not. It's not Kroll. It's the number something. I couldn't see it, but there we go. Martin van der Kraan, as he comes along across the line, doesn't improve. So nobody else improves. So that is qualifying done. Adrian Antomarchi on the pole. The 300 separating him and Dean Riley, so that's going to be a very close race into turn 1. Sam Spenklink in the first non-BMW in the NSX GT3 Evo on the second row with Jack Young. Nard Cox in the other NSX Evo in P5 with Kieran Vidago in an M4 GT3 alongside him. James Mead in P7 with Ben Mallard, isn't it? Yeah, Ben Mallard in P8. We have Dave in P9. We have Dave Jr. with Mark Brophy alongside him. Dimitri Decoint in P11 with Adam Azalevich in P12. Peter Vernier in P13 with Richard Pixley alongside. P15 is Nathan Pierce with Joan Planas alongside. Lulubi in P17 with Dusan Vojnic alongside. 2 Porsches take row 10 with Christoph Holzer and Danny de Swart holding those positions. John Baton in his Lexus with Aaron Van Drunen alongside. Behind them, Nelson De Bruyne and Alex Crawford. Jose Medina in P25 with Rob Jackson alongside him in the M4 GT3. Cohen Scepter and Vincent Vilcek just behind. Martin van der Kraan and Tim Kroll in their Lexus, a lineup alongside each other with Patrick Tractor, Sander Vale, Jerome DeWitt and Leonardo Wolf rounding out our 34 strong grid for this half an hour sprint race. Are we looking forward, Voter?
Oh, for sure. 30 minutes, Misano, close grid. This are only recipes for a bit of action. We'll see if Dean Riley can extend his lead more, or Antonomachi will get the win this week around.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a rolling start. Obviously, we're going to wait for the green flag lap to start. You can see a few cars still dropping down from their jack stands, which means they are confirmed and ready to go. Obviously, after time runs out, they get transported back to the pits, and we'll have to start from the pit lane, which nobody wants to do.
Yeah, and as said in this race, 30 minutes, you really don't want to start from the pit lane, but still can get quite of a advantage out of it, because 32 cars in turn 1, this might come out in a bit of chaos. I don't want to commentate curse already, but yeah.
I was going to say, is this your second commentary?
Yes, first one was
Yeah.
Hungaroring.
Absolutely. Well, commentator's curse comes very quickly, so just be very careful. Good evening, Mark. Hoping you're enjoying, and obviously, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the amazing talent of Dave, but trying my best. As you can see just how long that is, 17 rows of cars alongside each other. 2 BMWs there with the Honda dropping down off its jacks, another BMW. I do love that Honda. It does look very pretty and angry at the same time.
Yeah, and 2 Hondas next to each other. It's nice to see so far up on the grid. As we said, the cars are now again a bit more equal, so it's nice to see a lot of different cars on the top and through the rest of the field. So it won't become like a cup class because one car is just simply the fastest.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right there. Obviously, we've got two races going on within the race itself. Obviously, the race for the overall with the pro drivers and then the silver drivers also racing between themselves. In this category, you can see there I believe that is Richard Pixley in the Wild Things Motors car. I know that livery way too well. I'm pretty sure I've been into the side of it at some point. But as we see there's Lulu B in the NSX alongside is Dusan Vojcic in the number 1 car. So lucky enough to have that number 1. There's another Porsche there with the British GT logo. In fact, British GT have their first round this weekend at Oulton Park, which will be, I'm sure, very interesting. 30-something cars on that grid as well. Alongside, there's the beautiful CBSR livery. Very, very nice. At some point, I want to have a chat with them guys again because they were lovely to talk to. There we go. Another Castrol McLaren. That is a lovely classic livery. Very orange BMW alongside. I believe that's another CBSR car. Yep, my eyes do not deceive me. That is a very nice looking WRT replica in CBSR car. And then one of my favourite liveries, this beautiful blue and orange liveries car here of 2K. And then obviously a Porsche, an Audi. My personal favourite car of the pack, the Aston Martin. And a Bentley rounding out the 34 cars taken to the grid.
Yeah, the Austin is definitely a nice car to drive. Well,
Absolutely.
I have to drive it as it's being the car of choice of my teammate in the Endurance Championship. But also those liveries on all of the cars are looking very nice. Those CBSR liveries are also one of my favorites. Last time I was at Misano, I saw them a bit too close. So I hope they don't dislike me for that little incident, but as we
How
see
could anybody dislike you, buddy? You're awesome. But there we go. In fact, there it is. There's the M4, number 124 car of Aaron Van Duren. So everybody out on their green flag lap. Most people would see this as a parade lap. Obviously, normally you'd have a tyre warming session, followed by obviously everybody slotting into their grid slots if it were a proper sprint race, like, well, your traditional sprint race. However, this is endurance sprint racing, which means we're going to go for a rolling start, and it's going to sound amazing on the stream. Obviously, we have ourselves muted just to make sure we don't hear ourselves back through, but I'm sure 34 cars, I'd love to be a lot in that pit lane when these guys all took off.
Yeah, myself, I went to the DTM race in Assen, and that was my first day on track at a race circuit, and I saw the rolling start there, and with those GT3 like cars which were driving there, it's just an amazing feeling to feel all those cars accelerating. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only ever been lucky enough to see one GT3 out on track, and that was an Aston Martin at Silverstone. But my God, the noise. Anyway, we should probably focus on our race here at Misano as they are coming towards the end of the warm-up lap. You can see a few people just spreading out, starting to warm up their tyres. One by one, the top 6 are going. As you can see there, everybody's starting to file out into a single file form. They're going to eventually bunch themselves up into a 2x2 formation as we go green. We will go green very, very shortly here for Simsport Racing International, round 5, Misano, for the two 30-minute sprint races. There we go. He's now pushing a little bit harder to catch up They're going to have to start going 2 by 2 here, so we're going to see everybody bunching quite closely now as we're coming towards the final corners on our green flag lap, waiting for the lights to go out. So they're coming through the final corner now. Adrian Antomacci and Dean Riley leading them towards the start. You can see they're starting to push each other a little bit, giving the last little wiggle of the tyres as we wait to go green. We're going to come through. Oh, sorry, I missed the final corner. This is the final corner. I always get these two mixed up, but here we go as everybody folds through the final corner now. 2 by 2 they go towards the lights. And we are green for the first of 2 30-minute sprint races. It looks like a really good start from Adrian Antomacci. Sam Spenkelink also getting a good start, getting down the inside. Dean Riley going to have a little bit of contact. It looks like everybody's got clean through so far. No yellow flags just yet. Everybody through clean. In fact, there's one off just in the background there. I'm not sure who that was, but Sam Spenkelink immediately taking advantage of getting up the inside of Dean Riley and going up to P3. Dean Riley now being hassled by Jack Young as they go through now. Obviously we need the timing screens to update themselves a little bit. Adrian Antomacci still leads the way with Dean Riley just behind in P3. Sam Spenkelink separating the 2 BMWs and that podium as that was a bit of an ambitious move by Dean Riley.
And as we come up, when we came up to the back straight, we also saw some cars going off at the side of the track. So we have to take a look who those were.
Yeah, 27 seems to have dropped off a bit. I'm not sure which car that is. I'm going to quickly have a run through. Alex Crawford is the big loser through all of this. So we're currently watching James Mead in the Maniac Mavericks vehicle. There it is. There's the Mercedes AMG with the British GT banner plastered across it. He drops it! He drops it hard, but he catches it. That's an amazing save. That was a beyond an amazing save. He does lose a couple of positions though. He's now fighting alongside the number 462 Mark Brophy. Is going to go push him through. He spins him. So James Mead gets spun by the other AMG. Adrian Antomacci still leading. Sam Spenkelink second. Dean Riley third. Jack Young fourth. Nard Cox fifth. Kieran Badago sixth. Dave Jr. seventh. Zailovic 8th, Dean Phillips 9th, our first silver car in P10. So let's have a quick look at the race. This is start. There we go, there's a McLaren off in the background. He spins. But he comes back in quite nicely. We're watching that Porsche. Oh, there we go, there's one backwards. I believe that is number 27. Is that Alex Crawford?
Yeah.
That is Alex Crawford. So that's what happens to Alex, just gets caught up in a bit of a melee, but manages to get himself going again. So he is on the second. In fact, he's almost caught up to the back of the pack, so he's going to be very quickly trying to fight his way through. There's a little bit of separation between the two packs. We've got 5 off. Number 5 is off somewhere. He is now going to be overtaken as well. Number 5. Who is that? That is Rob Jackson. Oh no. The Welshman off at I believe that is the 5th or 6th turn. That's number 55 off as well. It's number 55 also with a problem. So we're seeing Leonardo Wolf in the Bentley also having a bad day. So Rob Jackson in his BMW and Leonardo Wolf in his Bentley, both having a bit of a bad day there. Hi Lee, good evening Mark, I hope you're doing well bud. So with not even 5 minutes elapsed, we've lost one driver already from the race. Looks like a bit of a mountain to overcome for Leonardo Wolf, as we're now watching Jack Young hassle Dean Riley, our championship leader, for P3.
Yeah, and in the silver car in P10 actually gained a place, I believe, which is also nice for him. So he has one spare car between him and the P2 in silver class, Richard Bixley, who won last time around at Hungaroring. So I think these two will battle all race long for the win in the silver class.
Absolutely, that would be good to see. So we've got Adam Tomachi already a second gap. A second gap between him and Sem Spenkelink, with the silver class only separated by one car. That is Nathan Pearce between Petter and Richard. So we have currently we're on the back wing of Adrian Antomacci. You can see a bit of a gap starting to form. He's just getting into a rhythm and pulling himself away as number 55's dropped off massively. 27 is not too far from the back now. So Adrian Antomarchi coming through now, flat through there. You can just see how much speed they carry through there. Christoph Holzer in the Maniac refueled car there, going for a move. In fact, that is the Aston Martin up the inside. If he can hold that, that's an amazing move, but he's going to get left to dry on the outside there by the Porsche. The Audi, I believe that's the CBSR Audi, ahead of the CBSR BMW. That's going to be a bit of a tough one to defend. He can't defend it. He's going to go around the outside, in fact. He can hold the position he's going to, and he has. Does a really good move there by the Aston Martin to hold it, but then runs wide and is going to lose the position, I think, here. There it is. So we're still watching we're still on board with the Porsche Christoph Holzer as he chases down Ben Millard in the 76 McLaren just ahead. Maniac refuel car doing a really good job there. In fact, I believe there's only 3 Porsches in the grid, so he's doing pretty well to be sat P24 currently just behind McLaren.
And while we saw these two going for the overtake, we also saw a Porsche running straight to the grass to hit someone off the track. I can't see them far behind the pack, so I believe no one was really hurt from that bit of incident. While we see Dean Riley driving behind Nart Cox, who actually gained a place, Nart Cox.
Yeah, he's done a good job up to P4 now. So it is currently BMW Honda. So Sam Spengling still trying to hassle. In fact, he's now dropped off over 2 seconds between him and Antomarchi. Antomarchi seems to be in his own little race here with Jack Young. In fact, Dean Riley has dropped all the way back to 5th. So something going wrong with Dean Riley here. He just doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up. He had a very good pace in qualifying, but it just seems to be that his BMW doesn't have the pace. In fact, it looks a bit damaged on the side. So has there been contact? I'm sure if there has, Tom will let us know. You can look at that left side, the driver's side of the BMW. Well, obviously not the driver's side if you're in Europe, but driver's side from the UK looks quite damaged on the M4 GT3.
Replay of Dean.
Here we go. This is the replay. Oh, it's a huge. I think that's netcode.
Yeah.
That looks like netcode incident, but that's a huge smack into the side of the BMW there. So I'm sure that will be reviewed by the stewards, but I think that's more netcode than an intentional ram from the side. So Dean Riley now down to P5 after that incident with a bit of damage on the side of the BMW. So he's going to be wanting to make his way back up from P5. As you can see, he's now pushing as hard as he can. Cohen Scepter under attack from his own teammate here. So Ben Mallard, Cohen Scepter and Aaron Van Duren, all 3 fighting for P24 currently. In fact, the Aston Martin just behind, so he's dropped a couple places since we were last on board with him. There you go, the Cohen Scepter now looking for a way through. He's going to go down the inside. That is move done. That's a very, very good move, but he's going to be undercut by the McLaren. The McLaren's going to have the pace. It's going to be a drag race now to the next corner. We're going to see who can get on the brakes latest. They fight each other a bit, and that looks like it might be job done if he can get the exit right. No, he's still side by side, and there's job done. So Cohen Scepter, a great battle with Ben Millard for P24, and off he goes up the road to chase down the Porsche just in front.
Yeah, and Aaron Van Duren here outside of the Aston, which he doesn't make it, but still close to it. Well, he actually lost the place of the Aston, but now you get the tow from him, so maybe he can try something on the straight with the powerful engine of the BMW.
Absolutely, that BMW obviously with a massive griddle must have a massive engine to support it. The Aston Martin trying to keep it behind. It's a very pretty car, the Aston Martin, but the BMW goes for function. Yeah, it looks like function over form here for the BMW as he pushes his way, trying to push his way past the Aston Martin here.
This is a really tight battle with all the cars on track, so we'll see if we'll make it past on this straight. With again the big engine, this straight is a bit longer. So and
that's Nard backwards. So what's happened there? Oh no, oh no! Pixley tries to avoid and just doesn't manage to get through. So Pixley, I think, actually has lost the lead. Lost second place in class. We're waiting for it to reshuffle. Nope, but there's John Baton right behind him. So Nard Cox, what's happened to him there? He's obviously now going to have damage as well. He's going to throw it up the inside. He's got a little bit more aggressive. This isn't the kind of racing we want to see. He's quick, but he's getting aggressive. So he's gone through past Lulu B. He's going to push Lulu wide, which can allow Mark Brophy through as well. So Lulu drops 2 positions in that section there as we watch Nard pushing his way through. In fact, here we go, the timing screens are now updated to show me Nard Cox jumping down. So we currently see, we're gonna have a replay of what happened. It looks fine, he goes down the inside and it's just no space. He runs out of room, backwards he goes. Everybody avoiding except for the Bentley that just can't avoid him as he comes down to the inside, and there we go, a little bit of a love tap from Richard Pixley in the Bentley. So it's just unfortunate that Nard ran out of space. In fact, Nard's slowing. Is he pulling over? Has he got too much damage and pulling over?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's going again. So what's happened there? Has he had another spin?
Maybe he has some issues with the tires being warm and wanting to drive slow, which seems unlikely to me. So it isn't really clear what he does yet. Now he does dive on the inside of the McLaren, but why he was driving slowly, it's also a question to me.
Yeah, I think he might have had a small spin. Obviously, the Bentley's hit him in the side, which, you know, more than likely, if he's lucky, it's just aerodynamic. If he's unlucky, there could be some steering issues, which maybe he's had another spin. He's currently now down into P24 after starting, I believe, P4, P3? So that's really unfortunate for the number 36 Honda driver.
Yeah, obviously he's the driver who had Antonomachi in his mirrors all race long, last race at Hungaroring and got P2 then, so it's sad for him. But yeah, if he has steering damage, then it will be most likely race over for him. If it's get a bit heavier, then you can't control your car. Well, Nathan Pierce goes down the inside of Venier.
Yeah, there we go. So Nathan Pierce making his way through past Peter Venier, our silver driver. So up to 9th place for Peter. And Lee is correct. That is a 33. It was a 33.082 by Adrian Antomachi, who is currently still leading the way with the fastest lap, I believe, to his name. In fact, yeah, there you go, confirmation with the purple sticker on his position. So with 18 minutes remaining, we have Adrian Antomachi, Sam Spenklink, and Jack Young on our podium. Dean Riley is now harassing Jack Young, so we'll see that. In fact, we saw that briefly in the background. That's Cohen Scepter backwards. So P22 was the position for Cohen Scepter. He's now backwards. It's going to drop him right the way back down. We'll see where he ends up. P31, according to the timing screen. So he's going to drop massively. What's happened there to the Audi driver, I'm sure we'll find out in a moment, as Aaron Van Duren's now harassing the McLaren. He's going to look down the inside. They're going to give each other a little bit of racing room. Pushes wide on the McLaren. The McLaren's going to go wide. Oh, there's almost contact between them. There's almost contact between what looks like a Honda and the McLaren. He's had to run wide. That was Alex Crawford having to run wide to avoid the slow McLaren there. So Aaron Van Duren does a very good move. Pushes Ben Mallard a little bit too wide, and Ben Mallard loses a position, 2 positions in fact, as DeWitt has gone through past Mallard. So here's the replay of what happened to the Audi. So the Audi goes down the inside of the Porsche and they run out of racing room. That is just another unfortunate incident where he's just put his nose a bit too deep into the corner, and yeah, the Porsche just tagged him. There's a little bit of contact. Oh, that's huge contact for the Lexus as well. Not sure which numbered Lexus that was, but it was one of the 2K drivers. So we'll see who that was, I'm sure, in a moment. Lulu B currently 16th, so they've made positions on their starting grid. They're now harassing Planas for P15. In fact, they're doing a really good job at it as well, sticking to the bumper really nicely as they come towards, I believe, the flat out section. So here we go, yeah, flat out. No lift there, you can see by the rev lights on the inside. There's no lift, in fact, up to 6th gear. Driving through down down, drops 3 gears through, looks down the inside, so they may have the move on the inside. It's going to be no, there's no contact. Really good move by Lulu B as she goes through into 15th place. A brilliant move by the NSX driver there on Planas in the 881 McLaren as they come through to start the next lap. In fact, we're halfway through the race now, so we'll have a quick rundown of our standings. So Adrian Antomarchi currently leading, with Sam Spenklink second, Jack Young and Dean Riley P3 and 4, Kieran Vidago in P5, Dave Jr. P6, Adam Azalevich in P7 with De Knoit in P8, P9 Nathan Pearce, Peter Vene, our silver leader in P10 with Richard Pixley close behind Danny de Swart in P12 with Mark Brophy P13, Medema, Lulu B, Planas, Vojnic, Kroll, Mead, De Bruyne are top 20, Nard Cox in P21, followed by Holzer, Baton, Van Drunen, DeWitt, Crawford, Vale, Tractor, Van der Kran, Scepter. Leonardo Wolf is, I believe, still out on track. In fact, yeah, everybody up to Ben Mullard is out on track, with Vincent Vilchak and Rob Jackson, I believe, retiring from the race. So we are currently watching the CBSR Porsche of Danny de Swart fighting to catch up with Richard Pixley. Mark Brophy close behind as he tries to fight his way further up the grid. Good evening to Raggy, Eric de Jong and Lee in the chat. Obviously great to see you all here. Obviously share and like the stream, obviously share it with everybody so we can get more people in as they can witness this great race. And obviously we have a second race to come yet, so there's going to be even more close fought action as we're still watching Danny de Swart fight for P12 with Mark Brophy and Medema close behind.
We also see Richard Pixley catching a bit back up to Peter Venier after that incident he had with Nard Cox, if I remember correctly.
You do indeed. In fact, there you go, there's a bit of a mistake from Danny de Swart as Mark Brophy now goes through into P12.
And also Medema looking at the back of him, so if he can get something out of this move.
It doesn't look like he's going to be able to take advantage of the CBSR Porsche drive-through for Lulu B. So Lulu B has pushed a little bit too hard and now has a drive-through that's going to compromise her race massively after doing so well, getting the way up to 15th and a great overtake on Planas. Now he's going to have to serve a drive-through, so that is effectively race over, especially here because the pit lane is very long.
Yeah, just wanted to say that she...
Oh, contact!
Contact!
Jack Young around as Dean Riley takes P3. Is he going to hand the position back? Because that looked like a lot of contact between the two.
Well, we will see what the stewards decide about this, as it doesn't seem like Dean Riley is planning on giving back the position. So we'll see if he does it. Otherwise, it will seem to me that he will get a penalty for this. Absolutely.
That was not, I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously we don't ever speak ill, but it's not the way you want to be overtaking your competition. But, you know, oh no, Jack Young pulls off. Has Jack Young got too much damage? Has he pulled off? He's dropped to the pits. In fact, there goes Lulu B serving the penalty now. But that is massively unfortunate for the number. That's really unfortunate to see Jack Young drop to the pits. It has been logged. In fact, there you go. So it's a really unfortunate situation for Jack Young, but does promote Dean Riley into third, which obviously he had overtaken already. That's Kieran Vidago now in fourth, Dave Jr. fifth. Obviously, everybody dropping to down positions. So Jack Young now P19. Obviously, he'll drop to. I'm not sure how low he'll drop, but he'll drop quite low. Lulu B will be coming out of the pits fairly soon. We'll see where they come out. We'll have a look now. P20. So we've got a replay here of the incident involving Dean and Jack, and it's just missing the braking point, pushing him wide, and I think that's a lot of damage to the rear end of Jack Young. He's just a bit, I think, got a bit frustrated and obviously dropped from this race, but he'll have another opportunity in race 2. Adrian Antomarchi, somebody we haven't been speaking about much, just been cruising away with the lead at the moment. In fact, 6 seconds between him and Sem Spenklink in P2. So Dean Riley now got a 4.2 second gap between him and Sem. Kieran Vidago with 3 seconds between, sorry, almost 4 seconds between him and Dean. Dave Jr. right on the back of Kieran. In fact, the only non-BMW in the top 6 is Sem at the moment. So Sem's doing an incredible job to be in this position.
Yeah, obviously with people like Jack Young and Narcox dropping out of the top, we will now see a lot of BMWs without Honda of.
That's Vojinic backwards. Oh no, it's not backwards, but he has stopped on track. So something's gone wrong there. Is he pulling off to retire? No, I can't quite tell where they're going. They're going to cut the track slightly. So Dusan Vojinic going through now, the number 1, the silver driver, dropping lower and lower down the order. So our top 3 in silver all together at the moment. Obviously a fair distance separating them, but all within, well, 1 through 3 as such between themselves. In fact, the closest silver driver at the moment is Mark Brophy just behind. He's currently challenging Medema for the position. Planas not far behind. In fact, there was a bit of a smoke, dust screen there. Benjamin Sims, I'm not quite sure. If you have a look on the Discord, I'm sure there will be information there. Unfortunately, Chris will know. I myself am not sure, but what he's referring to is the amazing charity race we have on the 16th here at the SSRi community, with obviously all proceeds going towards helping the young in Ukraine. So here we see Lulu B fighting their way back through past Van der Kran. So Lulu, a woman on a mission here to claw as many positions as she can. In fact, there's another drive through, in fact for Holzer this time, in the number 60 Porsche.
Yeah, so this means he will also drop far a bit behind. Well, it was actually quite a bit high up in the silver class. So this may hurt him a bit, but as said, we will have a second 30-minute race after this. So all of the drivers who got unlucky this race will get a second chance to show what they have in house to try again.
Absolutely. So we are watching Kieran Vidago now as he is being pressured by Dave Jr. There you go, Dave Jr. briefly appearing. In fact, I've commentated over Dave in the touring cars, and he's a very quick driver in those touring cars. So it's no surprise that he's here in P5 with the BMW, very quick driver. Kieran Vidago also equally as quick. And obviously we've got a fair few SSRi guys in the top 10.
You can almost think it's a bit rigged.
Well, I mean, you can't exactly rig. I would say you can't rig these races, you know.
No.
Very talented drivers, and you know, the talent in, well, as we've seen, the talent here is really good. Even, you know, all the way back into the back of this grid, you know, there's a reason this is the tier 1 and there's 2 tiers. So, you know, equally the racing is good in both tiers. I mean, if I wasn't commentating, I'm sure if I was good enough, I'd be trying to get on this grid as well, because the racing and well, I've been part of the community for a few months now, and I've loved every second of it. It's been incredible, with a lot of close racing and a lot of good action as we watch Dimitri Decoit getting right up behind Zailovic there in the BMW. Holzer serving the drive-through now, having a good time. I'm sure, maybe checking his Twitter. Making sure he's messaged his mum to say sorry. But there we go. So he is now back out of the pits. I'm not sure, actually. I think Tom can answer that, because this is my first time commentating over the 2 sprint races. What happens for the second race, Tom?
We have another quali.
Awesome. So just to confirm, Tom's just giving me a lovely bit of information. It is a second qualifying session. I'm assuming a bit shorter, to determine the grid for the second race, and obviously then we will see how it shapes up. So Daniel Swart in P14 currently chasing down Mark Brophy. We now have 4 silver drivers all together, so Planos has made his way through past Mark Brophy. So the silver drivers all starting to bunch up now. In fact, we've got a huge bunch right at the back. Adrian Tomachi is still leading our way with 7 seconds now. Medema right on the back of Rich Pitsley. This will be for P2 in the silver class, P10 overall, so I'm sure the top 10 and the P2 is looking very inviting for the McLaren We're going to have a look at their last laps. If I'm right, Medema was a 10th quicker last lap. It's going to contact. There's contact between the two. Some more contact yet again. Medema makes his way through. Pixley gives a flash of the lights in disapproval. So we'll see what happens there. But again, I would say that was a little bit cheeky from Medema to make his way through.
Yeah, and now Pixley is split between the two Red Rocket Racing cars with those Castrol liveries. So obviously he's disappointed with this move, but we'll see if he can catch him back up or still can hold Planes off to keep the podium in the silver class.
Absolutely. Well, the podium is going to be determined fairly soon. We've only got 5 minutes left of this race. Pixley currently trying to hold off the second McLaren of Red Rocket Racing. There you go. In fact, that's not a big gap. 1.2 seconds between him and Medema, and 0.367 between him and Planas. And then obviously we've got De Swart, Mead, Brophy, Kroll behind. So another gaggle of pro cars just behind the silver class here. Mark agreeing that he should give that back. I think we're going to obviously try and stay as neutral as we can, but yeah, a little bit of contact is never the way you want to go through. I think Vulto will agree with me here when I say, obviously, if you make contact and you get a pass, you give that position back.
Yeah, especially when you make contact in this form, you will have to give the position back, and that's being gentleman on track, and that will make the racing more fun and more enjoyable for everyone on track. So I can't think anything bad about Jitse Miedema, because I did a 2.4 with him, but still, this is a bit.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not, you know, we're not going to take sides. That's for the stewards to decide. But, you can see here that this is obviously compromised Pixley's race a little bit. He's now pulling away, but obviously equally Medema has pulled away a little bit. So maybe he could have waited a couple of corners and overtaken him a bit cleaner. But like I say, obviously this is racing. You know, you've got 34 cars to take the start. Nathan Pearce fighting the Bentley of Nicoit. In fact, I quite like that blue. That blue Bentley is looking lovely as he is being attacked by Rednazak's car there. There we go, Mode 11 car. Beautiful in that blue and I want to say purple livery. So the 987 now under attack from Nathan Pearce.
Yeah, this being for P7 in the race in the last 3 minutes. So I believe, and I think from the perspective of those drivers, they will absolutely try their best to give everything in those last 3 laps or so to get the position or keep the position in Dimitri his case.
Absolutely, you can see that they're pushing each other quite hard now. In fact, in pushing each other, it seems to be that they're catching up Azalovic and Dave Jr. So Dave Jr. and Azalovic are going to suddenly be under attack from the Bentley. In fact, there you go, the Bentley's actually caught up. So while being attacked, the Hoyt has been just focusing on what's in front as opposed to what's behind. And there's Adam Azalovic.
Yeah, him being in front, I hope it won't be a bit of an issue that he will interfere in this battle, but also when he will interfere, it will be a 3-way battle for the P6 in the race. So also Dave Jr. driving in front of them. This can get interesting in the last 2 laps of the race.
But in fact, if these guys bunch up, there's actually opportunity for P4. You can look now at the gaps. You've got second or just over a second between Vidago and Junior, just over a second between Zalovic and Junior, obviously behind in Zalovic behind Junior. The Knoit obviously within a second, and Nathan Pearce also within a second, and obviously a buffer of about 6 seconds between the group. So these guys could race all the way to the finish now.
Yeah, and being low on fuel, these cars are a bit on their best right now. Maybe the tires will come a bit into play, but it will be a hard fight for the last 2 laps. They are now on the penultimate lap for those guys' race. So
there you go. Ooh, a little bit of a slide from Dimitri there. So pushing really hard now to try and catch up. Where is Antomarchi? I think there may be 1 lap yet to go. We'll have to confirm it. Obviously, with a minute left to go. We're looking. we may be looking likely for another lap. I'm sure we'll find out very quickly as he approaches Sector 3. If he has enough time to slow down, I'm sure he will, to make sure he doesn't have to do another lap. But there he is, there's Sem. So Sem is actually the whole straight behind at the moment. So Adrian has a little bit of a gap. No, there will be another lap, I'm 99% sure.
Yeah, so hope everyone has calculated enough fuel in their car to do that extra lap. And Nard Cox actually got a drive-through.
Oh no, so there he goes from bad to worse for Nard. Spun, makes his way up to, and again, a really respectable job to make his way back up to P18. Luckily, there is another lap for Nard, so that he can do. There you go, confirmation that there is another lap. I've just seen him. I've seen our race leader go through. So these four are going to have to race one more lap together. Dave Jr. is back to pull away a bit, so it's a little bit of a lucky break for him that these three are fighting. This obviously takes Adam Azelovic's mind away from trying to chase down Dave Jr. and just trying to hold fort now. So one lap left to go. Nard Cox is going to have to serve his drive through this lap, otherwise face a penalty.
And that penalty being with this long pit lane, it will most likely be a hard penalty to serve at the end of the race. So you have to see what is better for yourself, to do drive-through now or get the penalty. All the drives behind him are silver class drives, so we can't actually see how many places he will drop from it, but I assume he will drop about all the way to the back of the grid. So
absolutely. So obviously nobody wants to drop to the back of the grid, but Antomarchi, somebody we've not spoken much about in this race, only briefly mentioning him because obviously he's been in a class of his own. He's just run away.
He's doing amazing, the same thing as Dean Riley did last race around with GT3s, and it's again a BMW driving away, then the Honda behind it and BMW, but Antomarchi and Fidago, Riley changed position.
Oh yes, that is very true. So here we go, our race one winner for tonight at round 5, Misano, is Adrian Antomarchi. He takes the checkered flag and maximum points for this first race. Sem Spenklink in P2, flashing the lights of approval. Dean Riley should come home in P3, battered and bruised BMW coming through there. Kieran Vidago, I'm not sure if he's in P4, he is, there he is. So he is in P4. Dave Jr. coming home P5, Adam Azelovic P6. Damien de Kenoit manages to hold P7 from Nathan Pierce. Peter Vainer in P9 and the silver win for him. Medema in P10. Pixley will come home in P3. Danny DeSwart, James Mead, P12 and 13. Planas 14th. Brophy, Kroll. Cox is going to run the line, I believe. Oh, no, there you go. He's going to come along the pit lane now, so we'll see where he finishes afterwards. De Bruyne going to take P17 from him, so he's currently P18, P19 now. So Baton, De Bruyne come through. There we go. Nard Cox checks checker flag and the maximum penalty for failing to serve a drive-through. So we'll see whether that disappears now he comes out of the pit, but I don't think that will. So he'll drop a lot lower than P19, I believe. Aaron Van Drunen in P20, Vojnic in P21, Crawford 22, DeWitt 23. We're going to have a quick look now. Lulu B 24th, so a good job by her to recover from her penalty. P25 is Tractor, Van der Kran, Holzer, Wolf, Mullard are 29th. Vale, I believe, Vale retired with Jack Young, Cohen Scepter, Vilcek and Rob Jackson all retiring. So that was an interesting race one.
Yeah, for sure, but those drivers who gave their absolute everything the last 30 minutes won't have a lot of rest because they have to continue with the qualifying for the next race, which I hope it will be enough and the same amount of action we had last time. So we'll see if it will go well. And also happy for Sam Spekelink, who had a terrible weekend, terrible race at Hungaroring with disconnection issues. A great comeback to P2. Absolutely
good job by him to come back to P2. Obviously we wanted to see him back up and recovering well, and he has indeed. Nard's weekend has, well, weekend I say, Tuesday night hasn't gone to plan so far, so we've got a quick bit of highlights here. So immediately off the start you can just see how difficult seem to be for Dean to get off the line. In fact, you know, there is Sam right alongside him immediately.
Yeah, and with that taken P2 and never let it go to anyone.
Absolutely, it's really unfortunate, but you can see that they are fighting. I'm not sure if we're bringing people in now or we're going to have commentary, some interviews after. I'm sure that somebody will let me know. So obviously, I'm sure if we get some people into the interview waiting room, we'll bring them down. So quick short wait time. Should we try and get Adrian in? Have a quick ping. I'll ping him and see if he wants to come in. But it was a good job by Adrian to get P1 there. Ooh. But actually, coming up this weekend, I've just remembered we've got a few bits coming up this weekend in terms of events. So I'm sure that Tom is prepared with some beautiful posters. Obviously, the first one being the endurance race for charity. If he wants to bring a beautiful poster for us.
Sick.
Put him on the spot, why don't I? So we've got the GT4 series calendar there. We have that is GT. Yeah, so there we go. Beautiful. So we have obviously got the 12-hour Hungaroring race there, driver briefing at 10:30, and racing for from 12 p.m. for 12 hours. So all cars allowed, which means, you know, if I wasn't going to Donington that day, I would definitely be running around in a BMW M2 CS, just making a hash of everybody's day. But obviously, anybody that can register, I believe registration is open till Thursday. So if you want to help out and support a great charity that's doing a lot of good work in the Ukrainian crisis, obviously we all stand with Ukraine, and we wish everybody, you know, I hope everybody's safe and well. Yeah, obviously anybody that wants to register, registrations are open till Thursday for the Hungaroring 12 hours. I believe also this weekend we have got the start of season 2 of the touring cars. I'm not sure if Tom has the poster for that, but I do know that I believe it is this weekend on Sunday. As we've got the GT3, there we go. That is the 2.4. We've got it. No, that's round 1.
No, that's one.
That's the old one. I mean, that it obviously. I can go down. I'll have a quick nip down to the bulletin board. We are, in fact, yes, it is. It is Lime Rock West Bend on the 17th of April. You'll be joined by the amazing commentator, I believe, Chris Buxton. I've had the pleasure of commentating with him, and he is never dull when he is doing his commentary, because, well, he's just an amazing guy. But anyway, so while we're waiting for the next session to tick over, we've got some highlights running in the background. You can see the Aston Martin there doing a little bit of a round. There's the number 76 car, a little bit damage on the rear end. That is Ben Mallard overtaking Cohen Scepter. So race 2. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a tempest flare in race 1. Do you reckon we're going to have the same again in race 2, Walter?
Oh yeah, sure. We'll have these drivers give their best again, and people like Nart Cox, who had not the best race 1, will have a second chance. And Adrian Antomacci is actually in the interview waiting channel, so absolutely.
We don't. Oh, we have Adrian, so we'll quickly bring him down before he starts his qualifying. They've just started qualifying, so we'll try and give a quick commentary with him. Adrian, are you there?
Yep.
We won't keep you too long because obviously qualifying's just started. First of all, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Are you looking forward to the second race?
Yeah, of course. Trying to repeat.
Absolutely, I'm sure that you want to have a repeat of that round. Yeah, obviously clean run from lights to flag. Obviously, I'm assuming you want to repeat. You've just said you want to repeat that. Yeah, the car seemed to perform well for you.
Yeah, I spent quite some time trying to adjust the setup to my liking, especially focusing on not having some graining on the tires. So yeah, that's a setup that is pretty consistent through the half hour.
Absolutely.
So,
obviously, you are the closest challenger to Dean Riley. Are you going to hope that you can get some points to close that gap between you and him in the championship?
That's the aim. But to be honest, if all the rounds count, I don't know if only 6 out of 8 maybe, or I don't remember. But if all the rounds count, he will win the champ, I think. But yeah.
It's unfortunate. You've done a really good job there, buddy. I wish you the best for this second race. I'll let you run out so you can go do your qualifying, so you don't have to start from the back. Best of luck, buddy, and enjoy.
Thanks. Cheers.
So there we go. Qualifying has started. There's Adrian Antomarchi in the pit lane. Obviously, we don't want to keep him too long. We don't want to give him any less of an opportunity to qualify on the pole. Dean Riley is currently out on track now, sets the first non-competitive time.
And also seeing the clock in game is around 8 p.m. I don't know what the race time will be. If it continues on the same in-game day, we might see a bit of a darker race. I don't know if Tom can confirm the time.
Well, it's currently at 2 p.m, so I do think we may end up in an evening race. You can see the beautiful evening sky here in the Italian countryside. I'm not actually sure where this track is. May have to do a little bit of research quickly. But yeah, obviously we're in Italy, a beautiful country. I've never left the UK, unfortunately, but yeah, it definitely looks like a beautiful part of Italy.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful circuit. It isn't for me the most fun to drive, but the scenery around it, it's very beautiful track in Italy. So can't complain about driving there. If it's
Absolutely not.
Deciding.
In fact, it's right on the coast. I'm just having a quick look now. So Misano is right on the coast near San Marino. So in fact, not far away must be the must be Imola. I'm sure Imola mustn't be far away then. But obviously, yeah, we're right on the Italian coast here, near the, I believe, Cape Verde. So it's a beautiful part of Italy, not far away from San Marino. Obviously, San Marino being home to Imola, one of the greatest tracks of all time. Obviously, we lost a great there, but absolutely amazing track there. So with 15 minutes left, there we go. There is our race 1 winner, and Antomarchi going out. Dean Riley setting the first purple sector, or purple time of the session with a 33.6. Everybody's setting different times. So obviously the times should be. Do you think the times will be a bit slower with the later time?
Yeah, the temperatures might be dropped a bit, which also could lead to faster times. But as you see, the sun is also going down, which may be a factor in the driving of these guys or girls on track, which may get a bit of an barrier with the sun. And I also can confirm that the race will most likely be in the dark.
I mean, I'm never complaining at a dark race. These cars look amazing at night, especially with a little bit of LEDs on the side. I'm sure that some of them have got that. In fact, there's some Clink showing that the barriers work, and into the wall he goes. So not exactly how you try and retain a P2 from the first round. You can see Nard Cox now getting his way through. So Dean Riley currently on the top with Kieran Bodago just behind the two SSRi cars occupying the top slots. There you go, Dean Riley going faster, in fact, on a 33.165.
Yeah, those guys being back on the top again. We'll see if we see a change of people driving, which may also be a bit exhausted after driving a 20-minute qualifying and a 30-minute race. They have to do it all over again, so it might be handy to have a second race to get another chance, but it might also be a disadvantage having a second race on this time.
Absolutely. Well, obviously we'll put it into perspective of, okay, you didn't run every lap, but if you've been here since start of practice all the way to now, and you finish all the races, you've done 140 minutes driving time, which obviously 2.3, like 2.33 is basically two and a third hours of driving time, which is quite a lot of race time when you think about it.
Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes is a lot of time. So they're probably. I know it's doable. Some of these drivers also drive an endurance championship, and there are a lot of cars who do 2-hour stints there. So it won't be the biggest issue, but they have to be at focus at all time long, especially in this close field. One mistake and you're gone.
You're absolutely right there. James Mead currently P2 with De Knoit in P3. So different sort of top three at the moment. In fact, there's a Bentley in the top three currently. Obviously, still not halfway through the session yet, so I'm sure the times will change. But that's Dimitri De Knoit in the Moto 11 car, currently sat in P3. Lulu B up to P4. So that's a really good job so far by Lulu in the 606 car. Mitri still sat in P3. DeWitt coming through now. Will they improve? We're going to have a quick look. Watching them cross the line. They do, only up to 19th though. So we're seeing a few drivers seem to be struggling with the colder track temperatures now as we get into the evening here on the coast of Italy.
Yeah, and still some fast people setting times like Antonamacci, who will also see if they go back high on the timing. So we'll see. Dean Riley still on top, seeing if he can extend his championship lead this race.
Yeah, obviously race one not going as a plan for Dean in the SSRi car. Obviously James Mead in P2, so he'll be happy currently. He's sat in the pit lane currently. Mullard, Nard, De Knoit, Lulu, Vidago, Bravey, Planas and De Bruyne are top 10 currently. Bit more of a gap now between the drivers, however. Obviously there we go, Adrian Antomarchi appears, and that's faster, only by 5 thousandths, but that's 5 thousandths faster than, in fact 6 thousandths faster than his provisional pole, well, last time. So he is improving leaps and bounds here in, well, I say leaps and bounds, but he's straight back to where he was in terms of the pole position.
Yeah, so we'll see if Dean Riley will be able to improve it this time around. Those two being close to each other again. Last time it was 300ths of a second, now it's 600ths of a second, so it's a gap of absolutely nothing. So we'll see if this lap would eventually be enough for the pole.
Absolutely. Well, James Mead still sat in second, Nad Cox in fourth. So the Mercedes actually all the way up into P3 at the moment. Here's Mark Brophy in the Red Nazak car. That is the 462 Mercedes. So coming into the sunset there. Beautiful look at that amazing looking car. Very, very wide grille. We complain about the size of the BMW's grille. Just go look at this Mercedes and think how wide that is. It's almost as wide as the car itself. Obviously all that helping cool and also aerodynamically improving the Mercedes bullet-like shape as he comes through. That is the last corner. We're going to get that right this time. That is the last corner. Comes to the line. Are we improving? We are up to P7. So Nelson De Bruyne in the BMW, the 185, currently holding the silver lead. Lulu B in P9 and second in silver, so that's a really good result for them so far. There's Planas coming through the final few turns now. In fact, here we go, a little bit of a train coming out of the pit lane to start their second qualifying run. Comes out just in front of, that looks like Sem Spenkelink's Honda. He pulls over, so he's going to be happy with his position so far. Planas up to P6. So that's a really good job by the McLaren. Two McLarens now in the top 6. We've got Adrian Antomarchi being swamped now by various cars, so he's going to go for another qualifying lap. In fact, no, he's not. He's going to pull off, let somebody go through, and then go for another qualifying lap later in the session. We've got just under half of the session left as De Swart there is coming through the last few turns. I'm assuming we'll watch him because he is on a faster lap. We're going to see whether he improves now as he comes through. Looks good so far, runs it onto the curb, comes to the line, and it is an improvement to P14 as he seems to. Everybody seems to be disappearing from the Earth. I believe we had a few technical issues there. Are we all good, Tom?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we may quickly drop from the session. It looks like a connection issue of sorts.
Both PCs have the same issue.
Have we got a connection issue? This is odd. We do apologise for the technical difficulties. Obviously, as soon as we can get this back underway, we will. The game's crashed. Oh dear, that's never what we want to hear.
Yeah, the drivers also say they lost connection. So
we've lost the server. So we've lost the server in Tier 1. The time is still counting down, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, that's a first for myself. Have you ever experienced anything like this, Walter?
No, I haven't experienced it by myself that a whole server crashed.
That's odd. Both servers are down, so we actually have 2 races going on tonight. Well,
tier
2 times 2 races. Sorry.
Tier 2 is running as normal, so.
Oh, so.
Yeah, having a bit of contact with the drivers to see. Yeah, it seems like the Tier 1 server.
Well, while we're waiting, should we try and get a couple drivers in? Let's see if we can get Dean in. Dean wants to come and have a chat. Server 1 is down, so we'll see what happens. Obviously we're waiting for news. I'm sure, actually, we'll leave Dean because I think he's part of the admin team, so I'm sure they're going to be rushing to sort this. Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? So we're just gonna run the highlights, and obviously while we wait for some information regarding what's going to happen with the session, whether we're going to restart or it's just going to be straight into a sprint race, I'm not sure.
We could ask the Pete Vinier, the winner of Silver Class.
Absolutely, actually, yep, that's good. That's a good plan. Oh, if I could spell, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, weird situation, which is one of the only issues of sim racing, is the connection. We also saw in the first race some netcode, which isn't the best to see, but you can't deny it. It's an issue which will hang around all the moment, so we just basically wait till what happens.
Absolutely. Well, it's unfortunate, obviously. The one thing that you can't predict is the internet, and unfortunately we are at mercy of the internet. So we'll see what the decision is for the race, whether we go back racing, whether we have a 5-minute qualifying sprint to determine the grid. We'll see what happens, but right now it's a very, very odd situation. Yeah.
Nobody coming online?
No, nobody seems to want to come chat to us. Obviously, we're waiting for any information on what's going on right now. We've got a lot of people typing. Hi to everybody in the chat. For those that just joined, waiting for the second race. We're waiting for information after the server decided to throw everybody out in what I'm going to assume was a fit of rage. It's really unfortunate for everybody.
Now looking to see if someone wants to have a chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least we got one race in tonight. So
Obviously, yeah, I'm sure we'll have some information within the next few minutes.
we have
Regarding-
Sam Link in.
Sam is coming in.
Oh, there we go, there's Sem. So Sem, yeah, if I remember rightly, Sem finished P2 in the race, and we're going to bring him down now to have a quick chat with him while we wait for information. Hey, Sem.
Hey Adam.
Well, I mean, I know you wanted to win, but throwing everybody out of the chat, out of the race might be a bad idea.
Yeah, so I thought Adrian was just too quick, so only one way to get him distracted, and that's to like denial of service attack on the server. Maybe he leaves, and then we can restart the server again.
Absolutely, but well, you did a great job to hold P2. Really good battle off the start with Dean. We're happy with your result in race 1.
Yeah, definitely. I think I didn't actually think I would be close to the top guys. The Honda here isn't that great. It lacks some rotation. Actually watched the SRO pros of eSport, and the Hondas were all the way at the back. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a terrible race. So really happy with third in quali, and then managed to overtake Dean at the start, and managed to get a little bit of a gap. And thereafter, yeah, Adrian was just way too quick for me. The tires dropped off, so P2 was the max today.
Well, it's still a very good result. So obviously, looking forward, hopefully, to race 2. We'll see where we end up in terms of timings, whether we get race 2 underway or not. But if we do get race 2 underway, any strategy for race 2? Whether you're going to try the same again, obviously get as high as you can and fight your way off the start.
Yeah, so strategy-wise, there's not really much in it because there's no pit stop, no real strategy. So you just push from start to finish. Maybe be a bit more conservative at the start with my tires, because I noticed that I had a lot of graining going on. At the end of the 30 minutes, I was graining my front tires moderately already. I think just overdriving the car, trying to get some turn in and not run out of track, and get myself some track limits. Was already pretty close in race 1. Had 2 track limits at the end, so yeah. Some leftover space, but yeah, need to watch those tires and maybe get a little bit more towards the end. But the BMW seem to be really quick here, so it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned track limits. Just how easy is it to get a penalty here? Obviously, some tracks have a very nice tune, and obviously don't give too many penalties. But in terms of this, is it a bit more difficult to try and avoid a penalty here?
Yeah, you need to be really close to the track limits to even be fast at Misano. So to be fast, you need to take those curbs and yeah, actually have like a millimeter of tires within the white lines, and then you're the quickest. But it's difficult. It's not very forgiving. I think we probably saw some people with drive-thrus during the race, which are undoubtedly for track limits. So it's a difficult one, but yeah, just don't try to rake up those track limits too early in the race. So you have to drive on eggshells for the rest of it, and then yeah, just try to push to the max.
Absolutely. Well, next round, if I'm using my brain correctly, is at sorry, is it Silverstone or Donington?
Silverstone.
Silverstone, thank you. I've just seen news that we may not be restarting the server. So in terms of Silverstone being the next round, any strategy going into that?
Yeah, difficult to say. It's an unknown for me in the Honda. It used to be very good for me in terms of the other cars I've driven before. I like the track. It's had a nice flow to it, and there's opportunities to overtake. Yeah, we'll have to see how the car performs there and how I get on with the car. But usually it's a nice venue. So yeah, looking forward to it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, before you disappear, anything you'd like to say to the chat? Anybody you want to say hello to that may re-watch the stream?
Well, I think just everyone watching, big thank you, of course, because the broadcast you guys are putting out there, it's really amazing, and I hope the viewers enjoy us racing here. And so yeah, particularly a big thanks to everyone and everyone who makes it possible for us to have these streams in this awesome community and this big grid, actually two full grids of racers. So yeah, that's the main point for me, and yeah, it's just awesome.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, Sam. I do believe that you can now go and relax. I don't believe we're having a second race tonight, so
No.
I will let you go enjoy your evening.
Oof. So yeah, unfortunate there, but yeah, of course, real life. We also get some issues. For example, we'll take this as a Spa F1 race where everyone just had to go. So I guess another half points for me for the second race then.
I mean, any points are good points, aren't they? So
Exactly. Well, thanks a lot, guys, and yeah, well done on the broadcast.
thank you very much, buddy. Take care. Thank you, Simsport.
Bye.
Right, we're going to bring in Damer into commentary. Just make sure we get the right one. Good evening, Medema, if I'm pronouncing that right. Unfortunately, I might have been butchering your name through the stream. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you for having me.
So, I believe it was P2 in the end in the silver class for yourself.
Was it? I don't know.
It looked like it was P2. I think Wouter might have to reconfirm, but yeah, it looked like a good race between you and the silver drivers right towards the end there.
Yeah, it was cool, a really intense race. Because I started at the back, I think P25 or something. And I think there were a lot of moments where we were 3 wide or sometimes even 4 wide. So it was quite crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately not a second race tonight. Is that unfortunate for yourself? Are you looking forward to it?
I was looking forward to it, but my quali was really bad. I didn't validate 1 lap yet, so at one point I'm quite happy with it, but yeah, I'd rather race at the back than don't race at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems to be double points from race 1, which means obviously you're going to get the full points as if it was an hour race for race 1.
Oh.
Is that going to, I believe it's double points, we'll just double check. Yeah, it is. So it's double points, I believe. So is that something that helps you massively?
Oh yeah, it does massively. I don't see this race happen twice, so that's like winning the lottery for me.
Absolutely. Anything that you want to add, Wouter?
Yeah, he indeed finished P2 in silver class, so amazing job for that. With being so far down the order in qualifying. Yeah.
Well, as always, I'm going to give you a chance to say anything you'd like to the stream. Obviously, keep it PC, but anything you'd like to say to the stream before we finish up.
Yeah, of course, I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and thank you guys for doing the stream and the commentary. And well, hope to see everybody watching and again next time, because the racing is always good here, always.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to quickly bring in Adrian again before we do finish up the stream. So thank you very much again, obviously, to Jitsay. Best of luck at Silverstone, and we'll quickly bring Adrian in. So Adrian, winner overall here. Congratulations. I mean, obviously we've just had you in here previously, but obviously race being cancelled now. If it is double points, is that a smile all around?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think the quali was more close in the second race. I mean, the start at least. So yeah, pretty happy at the end. That's unfortunate that we couldn't race, but it is how it is.
Absolutely. Well, next round is Silverstone. So, are you hoping to carry the momentum from here to Silverstone?
Definitely. Silverstone is a pretty solid track for the Beamer, and kind of like the flow also of the track. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Well, obviously, we don't really have much to ask you because we've been hoping to have a bit more to talk about from your second race, but obviously a great job. You were sat on provisional pole before the server went down. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone. We're going to do the usual, as I always do. Anything you'd like to say to the stream before we obviously politely finish up?
Just want to thank you guys for the amazing job for the streams throughout the whole season so far. So pretty quality, and really like enjoying watching the races a few days after the race happened. So that's really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much to yourself. Obviously, best of luck for the next round at Silverstone. Thank you very much, Adrian Antomarchi.
Thanks. Have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening. Well, that seems to be... Well, that will be everything. Sorry, I say it seems to be. It will be everything from us this evening at SSRi. Unfortunately, we can fight each other on the track all along, but one thing we can't fight is the internet, and the internet is the victor today. Wouter, anything you'd like to add before we round up?
Yeah, it was well. Despite the planning, we only had one race, but that race was a pleasure to watch with these guys. So also a pleasure to commentate. As we see the overtake from Sam at the start again, it's just amazing job from everyone on the grid.
Absolutely.
So nothing more to add.
No? Well, obviously, thank you very much again to Tom. Tom really should put his name on there in like a little bracket as the broadcaster. He does an amazing job every time he's on the cameras. Thank you so much to Tom, to Wouter, to everybody watching, to the family here at SSRi, those that are going to watch back. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, like, share, subscribe. If you're not part of the community already, definitely come and join us. We've all got something going on, whether it's ACC, whether it's iRacing. I believe we've got some set of Corsa standard coming in the future with the Clio Cup just finishing up. I'm sure there'll be some new events very soon. From myself, Adam Bent, thank you very much everybody for watching. Take care, stay safe, good evening and good night.
Hello guys. Yeah, that's the downside of running the